Okay, this is a little bit of a follow-up test for the AnkerWork wireless microphones. I had two ideas. Number one, the Comica wireless microphones that I reviewed, they came with two audio cables to connect the receiver to the camera. And there was one specifically made for Sony cameras because Sony cameras tend to run hot. So I tried to just use that cable to see if it just made it easier instead of having to go in the camera settings and reduce the audio levels. It didn't do much, but I will test it in audio because I'm doing that right now. It was still peaking in the high levels. So I just went into the standard Sony ZV-1 camera settings, and I am noticing that the performance is considerably better. I am not peaking. I'm in a good range, at least visually I can see from the audio channels that I'm in a good range. I don't know how it's going to sound, but I am going to test it. So this is what I'm doing right now. If you're curious, on the ZV-1, I have the audio settings set to negative, or to set to 15. It was previously 26. And I kept the gain up on the ZV-1. The ZV-1 has a fairly decent built-in microphone, right? That's part of the run and gun functionality of this little pocket camera. So it was initially set to 26, and now it's set to 15. I'm also going to test it. I'm curious how it's going to sound without the microphone, just to see if that is a problem, basically. Like maybe I can just leave it at 15, because my concern is that if I'm not using the microphone and I whip this thing out, that particular setting is it's in the level 2 settings. It's pretty deep in the menu settings. It's not in an obvious place, so that's not great. I don't love that. That's not easy to do that. Okay, Sony ZV-1 without a microphone, with the decibel levels set to 15. This doesn't look great. It looks pretty low. So that's not good. I have increased the volume level from 15 to 19. The wireless mic is plugged in. It still looks healthy. It's not peaking in red, or if it does, it's doing it in a minimal way. So I'm curious to see how this performs, if this is maybe a little bit better. I think that I just watched the previous test, and I think that the clipping issue that I noticed is gone. But I also thought that the audio sounded a little low. So I bumped it up 4. It's at 19 now. I also just wanted to see, this was the cable that came with the Comica that was specifically designed for Sony cameras because it runs hot. I'm using the normal cable that came with the Anker wireless microphones. So this is the normal kit. It's at 19. I don't think that it's doing anything different. So yeah, we'll just we'll see how it sounds. I hope it sounds good, because I gotta figure this stuff out. Yeah, still no peaking. Was that peaking? Yeah. No, it looks all right actually. So maybe we can even bump it up 1. We should also probably test at 19 how terrible the audio sounds. And this is the microphone. This is the Sony ZV-1 set to 19 audio level from effectively 26, and without a microphone. And it's in the middle. It's still kind of low. I don't think this is going to sound great. One final test. We're doing the microphone. I have the noise canceling on set to low. So I have noise canceling set to low. I want to see if it is clipping when the audio is peaking. I don't seem to be going into the red as much. I set the audio, I split the difference. I went down from 26 originally, down to 16. Then I moved it up to 19, and I think I set it to 17 to offset the noise reduction potentially. So I just want to see what that does. I did feel that the 16 was a little low, but I got the impression that the second test, when it was set to 19, there was a couple of times where I went into the red and it felt like it was peaking. So I actually, for some reason, I don't know if it was the cable, I felt like the 16 test sounded better even if it sounded lower. Also, while I'm talking to you, my air conditioning just clicked on, and the air vent is right there, and it's sucking air in. So I'm just curious to see with the noise reduction how that sounds. Actually, I'll shut up for a second. Let's see how that picks that up. As a whole, I actually think this is sounding much better. I'm not getting that weird clipping. I think that the audio is perfectly passable, and I think it'll be great, especially if two people are on camera or whatever. I think this is really the intention. This is the exact setup that I intend to use for this microphone with this camera. Hopefully this doesn't suck, and I'm just going to say something really loud to see if it peaks. Shablamo! Yeah! The yeah didn't sound too bad. The shablamo definitely peaked, so we'll see if it sounds bad. Shablamo! Yeah.